Hi guys, this is Eliza and welcome back to Eliza's Bookshelf, or welcome if you're new. Today I want to showcase this book that I read recently that I gave 5 stars, and it was a really surprising 5 stars because I didn't think anything of this book, and then I read it and I loved it. It is Inkblood's Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right, but oh my gosh, this took me out of my funk. I've been reading a lot of books in October and I was not liking a lot of them, and it made me sad because October is like my birthday month, and so I was like, can't I just find like a good read that I am obsessed with? And this really took the cake, or whatever the saying is. Inkblood's Sister Scribe. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but also it is a standalone novel, so it's great. You can read it, wrap it up, and you don't have to wait like months, years, whatever for the next book. Or if you don't want to be invested in a series in general, this is a really good book to get into. It is a standalone, and I loved it so much. So I was kind of hesitant going in because it is a book about books, about the magic in books and stuff like that. And you would think like, you know, I love books, I would just eat that stuff up right away and just dive right in. But I was kind of hesitant because I read another book about books. I think it was called Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret someone or another. I don't want to mix it up, but it was Sorcery of Thorns. And I thought I would really love it. And it was like really hyped. Everyone was giving it high ratings and stuff like that. And I read it and I thought it was just okay. So when I heard about this book, of course I was interested, but I was like, you know, kind of hesitant going in. I didn't want to hype it up too much. And I honestly didn't remember what it was about. I would read the synopsis, think like, hey, I am interested, and then I didn't think much about it afterwards. But I was like, I'm really trying to get through my book of the month books this year. I have like 9-10 more books to go. And so this is one of the books that I read during October. Basically, you have this family who devoted a lot of their life to protecting these magical books. You have 2 sisters, the father, the mom, like this stepmom of sorts, right? Because the sisters are actually half sisters, and the father actually passed away, and it had to do with like this book that he was trying to deal with and stuff like that. And so they're trying to figure out what happened to the father. Like, why did he pass away? What happened? Why did this happen to his blood? And it's so cool because, well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But the 2 sisters, you have Joanna and you have, what's her name? Esther. Let me see. Joanna and Esther, right? Joanna and Esther, I think. Yeah, so you have Joanna and you have Esther. You start off with like different point of views, different chapters and stuff like that, and you find out that Joanna is living in the family home still. Dad's been passed away, so she's there living by herself, keeping track or taking care, protecting these books. And she's like doing all she can to figure out why this happened to their father. And she's like doing blood magic and stuff like that. And then you switch to Esther's point of view, and she's like living by herself in Antarctica, I don't know, somewhere on the world, right? But she's basically left her family. It's been years since she's seen her sister, and she's just like gallivanting throughout the rest of the world. And she's like living her life. She has this girlfriend, and you switch to another point of view, this guy Nicholas, and that's when it really like clicked to me, when I was like, oh shit, I am reading probably one of my favorite books of the year. Because it's so cool seeing how everyone relates to each other and stuff like that. So you have Nicholas over in London or something like that, and he actually has different capabilities too. He actually is what is called a scribe. So he uses his blood to write spells in books. And because he is able to do that, he cannot actually use the spells. Someone like Joanna can actually use the spells. So she would actually have the ability to feel or sense which books are magical and use those books and read those spells. And you know, you can do like all sorts of things with these spells. You can have like mirror magic and stuff like that. There's so many things. The possibilities are endless. But Nicholas is the one who like writes the spells. He spends forever trying to find the right wording and stuff like that. And sometimes these spells can go on for like 12 pages, longer, novels, whatever, right? And so when Joanna reads these spells, it's like going on and on forever, like an hour of reading. But anyway, so their lives kind of converge, and it's just so crazy. And they're trying to figure out you know, this history and what happened to Joanna and Esther's father, and it's just so darn crazy. Like sometimes you kind of figure out what is going to happen, but even when it actually happens, you're like, oh shit, that was amazing. So I have never felt this way about a book in such a long time. This book like made me cry because like the sisters have not seen each other for years, right? But they obviously have that love for each other from when they grew up, and obviously have that hurt because they have not seen each other for like a decade or whatever number. I might be making that up, but so I like cried, I laughed because this is honestly hilarious. I listened through it through audiobook, but when you read it too, it's just like so funny, like the banter between the characters, and they're like teasing each other. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And I love how like queer normative it is. Like Esther has a girlfriend, Nicholas possibly has something for like his bodyguard friend, whatever, you know. So I just love like how normal it is in this world. When Joanna was like having feelings for this guy, she was just like, hey, are you kind of liking this guy, you know, or what is it like, do I have a chance? I don't know, I don't want to ruin everything, but it has good queer rep in this one, and I'm just so excited to see what else Emma Torres is gonna write. Look at her picture, look at her with her cat. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I definitely like recommend this book to anyone who loves, I think they said like if you like practical magic, you'll like this book, and then something else too. But I do know my colleague says she loves practical magic. She watches it every year. So I'm gonna lend her this book and just gently nudge her. Like whenever you have time, away from work, away from kids and stuff like that, just give this a try because it's so good. But yeah, I hope you like my little rant, little review there, and give this a try. Let me know if you have read it. And what you think, and just let me know what your recent 5 stars are, because this is definitely a 5-star read for me, and possibly like my only 5-star read this month so far. But yeah, hopefully you'll give it a try. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.